on tap with two big-name businesses under his belt. John, Paul DeJoria knows a thing or two about money, about the bucks. On tap, the Patron spirits, and Paul Mitchell, founder, joins us with his unique take on the healthcare debate. That and more when Happy Hour continues here on Fox Business, the only business network in true HD.
John Paul DeJoria remembers when he was homeless, not once but twice. In his early 20s, he used to go out and collect Coke bottles at night and cash them in at the corner drugstore for 2 to 5 cents and however much he could get. He lived on a very simple diet: rice, potatoes, lettuce, cereal, canned soap, and mac and cheese. Canned soup. And mac and cheese. Reminded me a little bit of being in college, dorms. Anyway, but not homeless. He did manage, however, to survive and then start enormously successful businesses, and he's now a billionaire, and he's here to talk about healthcare reform from his very unique perspective. Welcome back. And
thank you.
Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah. All right, my pleasure.
So let's start off a little bit. I mean, part of the problem we're having with this healthcare debate is trying to triangulate what the actual bill is going to look like, whether it's public option A or public option Z or somewhere in between on that spectrum. Do you have an idea? Can you explain
this? Yes, I do, and I'm so glad you're trying to clarify for the public and maybe for Congress and, of course, everyone in Washington. It's so convoluted. There's so many various variations of this and that. The answer is this. In the late 1950s through the middle of the 1960s, we had no health problem in the United States. There were people that didn't have it, those that had some insurance, but everybody was taken care of. Politicians go back to how was it handled in the late 50s through the 1960s. Do the same thing again. No one was burdened with taxes, no one was burdened with problems, and everybody got health care. I'll give you an example how today's system works in Washington. What's the matter with you? A friend of ours who lives in Peru came to the United States with one of her kids 1 month ago that was born in the United States, has no money, no job in the U.S., came to visit her family for a reunion. In New Mexico, the little child had appendicitis. They immediately went to the hospital. They were qualified under Medicaid because they were a U.S. citizen, handled the whole thing for them. They were taken care of and gone. They had no job in the United States, but they were U.S. citizens. It was all handled and it was done. And I guarantee whatever bill they gave the federal government wasn't a normal bill where they inflate it. The problem is insurance companies, doctors, and hospitals inflate the bills because it's insurance. Yeah. Everyone pays for it. At John Paul Mitchell Systems, we pay the insurance on everybody. They don't contribute. And we've noticed it double in the last 5 years.
So just stop right there for a second. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I want you to talk about small businesses.
Sure.
Outside of yours, yours is a bigger business, but small business owners, aren't they going to be the hardest hit by any sort of health care reform bill?
Well, they'll be hit if it's the wrong health care reform bill. When we started a company, we were really little teeny-weeny. We had at least insurance that covered everybody if there was any expense. I think it was $1,500 or $2,000 that we would cover most of it over that amount. It cost us very, very little. Any health care bill that affects everybody's mom and pop business, what we call most of America, is a disaster, and America should revolt against it, okay? I think people should speak up on what's right, what's wrong. Mr. Obama, you got some great ideas, but don't hurt independent business people. You hurt independent business people, you're going to hurt America. Don't do that.
Because you hurt jobs as well.
They hire the majority of people.
John Paul, then let me, based on what you said, you provide health insurance for all your employees, thousands of your employees, but you've seen the costs go up without anything being done. We haven't even touched it yet. It's because this whole, you have so many special interests in it. All these prices are inflated beyond anything, whether the government's paying for it, whether you're paying for it, whether I'm paying for it. How do we address that without being accused of price fixing or too much regulation because we want to set prices?
Gladly. I have friends that don't have insurance, that have gone to doctors and they said, is this insurance or non-insurance? They said, we're not insured. The price was so much less than if they were insured. It's amazing what people get away with because it's insured. And that's why the prices are so high. In other words, there's two things. If you're not insured, we're going to only charge you so much. If you're insured, we're going to go for it and get away with it. I don't know whether it's a Band-Aid is $5 or what it is, but they take advantage. It is wrong. For the government to step in and say, we're going to control it all, there's a whole bunch of more waste that's going to go on. It's not right.
Do you have any hope at all that the government can put together any kind of reform that's real reform, or is it simply going to be crony capitalism?
I have no hope. politicians can pull it off. No disrespect to politicians, okay? I love America. I'm an American citizen. I'm behind our elected officials. But they're not business people. Why don't you get business people in there like me that'll work for $1 and need no fame, no nothing? Give us a 2, 3, 4-year stint. We want nothing in return but to give back to our country. You get a politician that's out there that wants to reform something, knows nothing about business, knows nothing about running anything. They were just an elected official. No disrespect. There's some good people out there. But a lot of them don't know anything, and they're trying to tell us what to do, how to run businesses, and they've never run a successful business in their life. We started broke, living in our car, and built something, take care of our people. Why don't you consult people like us? Let us get involved, man. We'll do it free.
Yeah. Well, you did say you'd do it for $1.
Free.
John Paul DeJoria.
I'll do it free.
Okay, free.
You guys heard it here first.
$1.
Apparently, John Paul DeJoria for Senate 2012.
Free.
More to come.
No, you can't.
Did I hear that right?
No,
You're running for office?
No, they would assassinate me the first week. I'd be too honest.
Oh, honest.
I'll advise
say,
guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Is it from Paul Mitchell? Yes, Paul Mitchell.
Yes,
Paul
there you
Mitchell.
go.
On tap, guys. Ace, thank you so much.